Hey everybody, welcome back to The Simple Creative. I'm your host, Oladimeji Ajegbile, and this is a podcast for those brave enough to start up something from nothing. Today's episode features a topic which is interesting to me, and it's understanding the myth about self-employment. If you're new to this is a podcast for those, like I said, brave enough to start up something from nothing, thereby inspiring others to do the same by actually picking up something very simple and then turning it into something very creative and extraordinary. So thank you so much for listening and enjoy the podcast. Now, every time you attend a party, an event where you need to connect with people, meet new people, and just, connect with people, socialize, there's a particular question I get asked every time. And I believe you get asked the same question too. And that's the question of, so what do you do? Now, this question, as simple as it sounds, can actually cause a lot of problems if you don't answer it correctly. But then for most people who are self-employed, answering this question tends to get others to cringe and look funny at them, like you're not even doing a real job. And I'm trying to address some of these things today. There are particular myths about being self-employed that everyone needs to know. And it's not as if these things are bad or good. It's just that people misunderstand them for what they are. When you tell someone you're self-employed, the person starts to ask so many questions to really get to the point of what you do exactly. Personally, explaining to my parents what I do for a living as a freelance designer, they didn't really understand until I was able to break it down as simple as possible. So how do you explain to someone what you do as a freelancer, as a designer who is working for yourself, you're your own boss? How do you explain to them? How do you make them understand that everything you believe about self-employment is actually true, but then can be thought about in a different way? Now, the very first myth I would like to address today is that you get to do what you love. Yes, it's very popular. People, shout it every time that anytime you want to do something you love, then you must go into something called self-employment. And as true as this may seem, on a different level, it's not as interesting as that. Yes, you get to do what you love. But then the fact is that we all have to do some very unpleasant work at times, And the thing is, work doesn't have to be this very painful, laborious, or dreadful thing that everybody is running from. Neither is work a constant stream of endless euphoria, like you're always happy doing your work or working for yourself. No. Yes, you love what you do, but still there are times where you need to experience those difficult moments where you have sleepless nights, you have deadlines to meet up with, and so many other things. So, like every other thing in life is about the ups and downs and the in-betweens. So self-employed people may be living out their dreams, they may be living out their passion, but it's also a job, and jobs have demands, unpleasant episodes, long hours, times when you're not happy with your boss, yourself, and all those things. So it's not as simple as we call it, self-employment, but then it has its own lapses too. So yeah, I think that is settled. Yeah, I'll jump to the next one. The second myth is that it's great to be your own boss. Trust me, I love being my own boss. But then sometimes I hate my boss because I hate my boss because that means I hate me, because some days I have to wake up very early after sleeping maybe like 6 a.m. and then I have to wake up 9 a.m., sleeping 3 hours, or because I need to meet up a deadline. Yes, I'm my own boss, but still there are things you just need to do, and then you hate your own boss. Now, as great as this may sound, you may have tendencies to either be the hardworking type of boss or being the lazy one. And whichever case this may be, at times you get frustrated at your boss, which is yourself, being self-employed. When you become sick all of a sudden and then you have a deadline, you become angry at yourself. I don't need to start explaining some of these things to you, but you understand what I mean. Now, the second one is that the third one, you have so much freedom. This is a very big fat lie. The fact that you work for yourself doesn't mean you have freedom. It just means you have to work more hours. Because someone working a 9-to-5 job knows that at the end of the month, a particular amount is coming in as a salary or as a wage for what he has worked all through the month. But you working for yourself, you're working based on contracts or based on referrals, on all these things. You need to be on top of the game. You need to fasten your belts, because you know that if you don't work for 2 weeks, the entire month will be messed up, because you can't just cater for yourself anymore. You might just go bankrupt or broke. So the fact that you have freedom, yes, you have freedom to work for yourself at your own pace. But then the other thing is that freedom in this context of self-employment is difficult to define. On one hand, you may be free from the demands of someone managing you, like a very terrible boss telling you to be doing this. You have restrictive vacation policies, but then you'll be thrilled to be able to pick up your own kids from school, attend this, attend that. If you're a parent now, if you're a young person, you can go out at your own time, but it's not as easy as that. I can tell you for, I think 2 weeks now, I haven't gone out to meet any friend or anything because I have demanding deadlines. Now that's freedom because I'm working for myself. But then in the other hand, it's not that kind of freedom. People who work daily jobs can go out at weekends, just chill and flex. But you have a client somewhere far from where you are in a different time zone telling you that he wants your job done 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. And you can't say no because it's an agreement you've, probably agreed to, and then you just need to make it work. So, the freedom is there, but it's not as interesting as we say it is. Number 4 is that self-employment is risky. Yes, everything in life contains a risk, but then you simply choose your preferred level of risk when it comes to self-employment. If you work in a particular type of business where the risks are very high, then you need to fasten your belts and know what to do. Now, you're taking the risk, but then you are also reaping the benefits compared to when you work for a 9-to-5 job. If you take a risk, it's at the detriment of your own career in that company, because if you do something that doesn't make sense, you're gone. But then for yourself, it's a risk. You learn from it, you grow, and then you advance. It's as simple as that. So yeah, it's a risky business, but then the risk is a little bit minimized because it affects you instead of an organization. All right. Myth number 5, you are constantly stressed out. This is not true. If you know how to work, if you have a schedule, if you plan yourself properly, you won't be stressed out. You won't burn out and all these things. I recently experienced a period of burnout where I overworked myself for 4 months straight without any particular kind of rest. Always on the move. It's either I'm in traffic, working on my phone, or I'm in the house, my workspace, just making something happen. I probably sleep like 2-3 hours every day, which is not good for your health. But then, since I started working on my schedules properly, it has been very good. It has been very easy, very convenient, and yeah, I'm enjoying this. So, it's not every time you're stressed out. You can actually define the level of stress you can get to know when to stop working. I listened to one of Matt Devela's podcasts where he discussed about overcoming anxiety and some other things. And then you set a time for yourself when things need to happen. It's not every time you need to work, even though you need to work, but then your health is much more important than your work. Understand that. Now, this one is one I discussed with someone at length a couple of weeks ago, and is that if you're self-employed, you're always lonely. Yes. You have the space to yourself. You're the only one in your workspace doing what you need to do. But then the thing is this, you're not lonely. You're just using that period to build yourself before you have a team you could work with. Now, just because someone is self-employed doesn't mean he or she is always alone. Of course, there are people who, all up in their private offices all day long with their own computers to talk with, like me. But many other self-employed people are busy meeting clients, getting customers, mingling at networking sessions, and interacting with or in co-working spaces. I hardly think you can be lonely if you play it right. There are times I just go out to a place called Cocoa House in Ibadan, and then I meet new people. I go to some places where I just know that, okay, I can meet creatives here, and then we discuss, we share ideas. So it doesn't mean you have to be lonely every time. Know how to work it out. Interact, go out and network. Like I said in one of the posts I had on Instagram, pick your head and go outside. Make eye contact with a stranger, and just live your life. Don't be locked up in one space all day. Although sometimes I stay in my workspace for weeks without going out, but then I know there's a limit to that. After 3 weeks, I haven't gone out. I take the weekend off, to just enjoy myself. So, myth number 7, you have to do everything yourself. Nope. No. You can outsource some of your materials or some of your jobs if you know it's too much for you. Like personally, there was a time I got a gig to work on a video editing job, and then I couldn't do it. And then I know some other creators I could call, and then they came in, assisted me, and then we all shared the profit. So you don't have to do everything yourself. Many fear the word of self-employment because they think I can do it all on my own. To those people, self-employment sounds like an intimidating cocktail of legal incorporations, tax audits, business plan formation, sales, cold calls, and customer interaction, data management, and every other thing that comes into play there. But the thing is, you can actually focus on your own skills, master them, and then those that you are not really good at, bring others in to join you. Like I'm planning some events very soon that I know that I can't do it by myself. So I bring in others to help me, and then it becomes a success. So that's why on my podcast episode with Toby Babalola, we discussed that collaboration is the new competition. So you can listen to that up here, but then let that get into you properly, that you need to collaborate, you need to meet others. You don't have to do everything by yourself. You can consult online resources to help you out, and so many other platforms that you can actually get people to work with even though you are self-employed.